Hi there, this is Brenda with Keenan Kreations, and today I have an elegant embossed fall card using the stamp set called For All Things. To get started, we're going to use a piece of the gold foil paper, and this measures 2 inches by 5.5. We're going to emboss it with the wood grain embossing folder. So you're going to place the card inside, and you can see how the pattern is going to lay on this piece of paper, so you can scoot that around till you get the right look. Now normally we emboss with the embossing folders on tab 1 of the multi-purpose platform, but that's actually going to be too thick for this embossing folder. So this wood grain, sometimes the way that it embosses, it almost cuts through the cardstock, and especially this foil paper. So I've got the platform opened where both tabs are on the left side and there's no tabs on this part. So you're going to have a cutting pad on the bottom, your embossing folder with the cardstock in the middle, and you're going to place another cutting pad on top. Make sure all the edges are lined up and then run this through. When you're done, your paper is nice and embossed and there's no cracking with that foil paper. We're going to layer this to Mossy Meadow cardstock, and this is your standard card size, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4 1/4. You're going to add adhesive along all the edges on the back. I'm going to layer this to the left side with a little bit of the Mossy Meadow cardstock still showing. We're going to use a piece of Whisper White cardstock, 2 inches by 2 3/4, and we're going to punch the top part with an angled tag topper punch. The cardstock will fit right in here, so just push that in as far as that's going to go, and then push down at the top. We're going to use this background stamp first with Mossy Meadow ink. You're going to tap on your ink pad, and we're going to stamp off once on your scratch paper, and then we're going to stamp this right in the center, and this will give us a lighter background. We're going to use this flower image next with the same Mossy Meadow ink, and we're going to angle this more to the left and press down. So then you're going to clean the same stamp, and we're going to ink it up in Versamark. First we're going to use the embossing buddy, and you're just going to pat it and rub across the cardstock. We're going to use Versamark ink, and this time we're going to angle it more to the right. And we're going to dip this in gold embossing powder. So just get the powder down to one end of your container, and I'm going to dip it in the powder and let it kind of run up to the top. And I'm going to hold it by the sides and tap that off. So we're going to use the heat tool, and I'm going to hold this straight up and down to melt the powder, and I'm not going to wiggle. I'm going to hold it just steady in one spot, and then once the powder starts to melt, I'm going to move very slowly. We're going to use Mossy Meadow satin stitched ribbon. This is about 5 inches, and you're just going to fold the end and tuck that through, and then you're going to match this up. If it's a little crooked here, straighten all that out. And then we're going to use some gold taffeta ribbon, and we're going to tie a knot around the Mossy Meadow. So you're going to tie it once, and then repeat that to make the knot. And then we're going to trim. And go ahead and line up the Mossy Meadow ribbon, and then trim that at an angle. We're going to add dimensionals to the back, probably about 4. And we're going to set this aside for just a second. Go back to Mossy Meadow ink. And I want to try this out on my grid paper because I'm not sure if it's on the block straight. So I'm just lining up the edge of the acrylic block to one of the lines on the grid paper. And you can see that I'm a little bit crooked here. So let me make an adjustment. And we'll try that again. I think that'll work. Okay, so now we can go back to the card. And we know that if we line up the edge of the block to the edge of the cardstock, we should be good. So now we can go back to our tag and add that to the front of the card. And we'll just angle this a little bit. We're going to go back to Mossy Meadow ink and this little flower sprig. Now instead of embossing the gold, I'm just going to stamp again without re-inking. And then I'll repeat that on the inside. I'm going to stamp off once, just so I have that lighter shade. And we're going to add adhesive around all the edges and layer that to the inside. I hope you enjoyed this project showing you how to use embossed elements to create a fall card. I have a couple of other cards that are very similar. I did the same card using Blackberry Bliss, and then I also did this card using Lost Lagoon and silver foil paper, silver embossing, and silver ribbon. I hope you enjoyed today's project. For more ideas, please visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.